Imagine standing face to face with a formidable rival, the weight of their reputation pressing down like a storm. Every move you make, every breath you take, is a test of your courage and intellect. For most, the battlefield is where brute strength decides the victor. But for Miyamoto Musashi, it was where strategy reigned supreme. Welcome to Timeless Self-Discovery, where today we unravel the mind of one of history's greatest strategists and uncover how you too can outthink any adversary, whether in the boardroom, the classroom, or your personal life. Musashi lived in a time when life itself was a battlefield. During Japan's Sengoku period, conflicts were relentless, and survival often hinged on a sharp sword and an even sharper mind. Yet Musashi wasn't just another samurai. He understood something that eluded many of his peers, that battles are won in the mind before a sword is ever drawn. Musashi's philosophy was grounded in the idea of Ken no Michi, or the way of the sword. But his interpretation of this way extended far beyond physical combat. For him, every encounter was an opportunity to outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast his opponent. To Musashi, true mastery meant understanding not just the techniques of the sword, but the psychology of the adversary. Think about your own challenges. Whether you're negotiating a deal, solving a problem, or overcoming personal obstacles, the principles of Musashi's strategy remain timeless. It's not just about reacting, it's about anticipating. Let's begin with one of Musashi's most famous duels, his face-off against Sasaki Kojiro. Kojiro was no ordinary swordsman. Known for his deadly technique, the swallow cut, he was a celebrated warrior with unparalleled skill. Their duel was set on a small island, a stage that amplified the stakes. But Musashi wasn't intimidated. He saw the battle not as a clash of swords, but as a game of minds. On the day of the duel, Kojiro arrived early, radiating confidence. The hours ticked by, and Musashi was nowhere to be seen. The scorching sun beat down, and Kojiro's patience began to fray. Musashi, meanwhile, had a plan. He arrived deliberately late, rowing slowly to the island, carving a wooden sword from an oar as he approached. This wasn't arrogance, it was strategy. By making Kojiro wait, he disrupted his composure, transforming his anticipation into irritation. By the time Musashi stepped onto the island, calm and composed, Kojiro's focus was already shattered. The duel lasted only moments. Musashi struck decisively, his wooden sword outmaneuvering Kojiro's steel blade. It wasn't strength that won the battle. It was Musashi's ability to control the narrative, to turn the situation to his advantage before the fight even began. This story isn't just about swords. It's a powerful reminder of how controlling the pace and emotional tone of any situation can give you the upper hand. How often do we let frustration or impatience dictate our actions? Musashi teaches us that victory starts with discipline. Discipline over your emotions, your reactions, and your timing. Another moment of Musashi's genius came not in a formal duel, but in an ambush. Traveling through dangerous territories, Musashi was once cornered by multiple enemies, but instead of engaging them directly, he retreated into a dense forest. This wasn't cowardice, it was wisdom. The terrain neutralized their numbers and gave Musashi the advantage. One by one, he picked off his attackers, using the environment to shift the odds in his favor. This story underscores another pillar of Musashi's strategy. Know your surroundings and use them to your benefit. Now, think about this principle in your life. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by a challenge that seemed too big to handle? Instead of charging in headfirst, consider how you can change the environment, the context, or even the perspective of the problem. As Musashi proved, the battle isn't always about brute force. Sometimes it's about rethinking the battlefield. At the heart of Musashi's brilliance was his unshakable focus. This wasn't just a natural gift, it was a skill he honed through years of discipline. Musashi embraced the Zen concept of mushin, or no mind, a state where the mind is free from distractions and fully present in the moment. This clarity allowed him to see opportunities others missed. In the heat of battle, where most would panic or overthink, Musashi thrived. He understood that a scattered mind is a vulnerable mind. In our modern world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, endless notifications, the constant pull of multitasking. But if Musashi could find stillness amid the chaos of war, so can we. His life teaches us that focus isn't just a skill, it's a superpower. Musashi wasn't just a warrior. He was also an artist, a calligrapher, and a philosopher. His famous work, The Book of Five Rings, is as much about life as it is about combat. For Musashi, strategy wasn't confined to the battlefield. It was a way of thinking that permeated every aspect of life. Take, for example, his belief in adaptability. Musashi rejected rigid forms and doctrines. Instead, he advocated for a fluid approach, one that could adjust to any situation. This philosophy allowed him to master not only the sword, but also the brush and the pen. He understood that true mastery comes from seeing the connections between disciplines, from blending the practical with the creative. Musashi's approach reminds us to think broadly. Whether you're an artist, a student, or a business person, strategy is about more than just winning. It's about seeing the bigger picture, about crafting a life that's both meaningful and impactful. Despite his unmatched skills, Musashi carried himself with humility. He never sought fame or titles. For him, the goal wasn't to be celebrated, it was to grow. This humility allowed him to stay grounded, to keep learning, and to avoid the pitfalls of arrogance. Contrast this with how we often approach success. It's easy to let achievements inflate our egos, to believe we've reached the pinnacle. But Musashi's life teaches us that true greatness isn't about being better than others. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Musashi spent his later years reflecting on his journey, sharing his wisdom with others. He understood that his victories weren't just moments of triumph, they were lessons, stories that could inspire future generations. And here's where his story connects to us. Life, in many ways, is a series of battles. Some are external, challenging jobs, difficult relationships, tough decisions. Others are internal, self-doubt, fear, the struggle to stay focused. But like Musashi, we can navigate these battles with strategy, clarity, and purpose. The lessons of Musashi's life aren't just relics of the past. They're tools we can use today. Whether you're facing a tough competitor, a daunting project, or a personal challenge, remember Musashi's principles. Control the narrative, adapt to your environment, stay focused, and always keep growing. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the mind of a master strategist. If you found inspiration in Musashi's story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, stay timeless.